Young people are most anxious due to the impact of COVID-19 on levels of violence and poverty. The report highlights reasons for stress among young people, as well as their resolve to help their peers and to reimagine a better future. Let's discuss this further. We're now joined by Mayke Huijbregts, who is the UNICEF South Africa's Chief of Child Protection. Mayke, thank you very much for joining us here on SABC News this afternoon.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. Well, the survey highlights the reasons for stress among young people. Let's talk about those reasons that have been highlighted. Interestingly, COVID-19 actually causing a lot of added stress and anxiety amongst the youth. Explain your findings to us, please.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. So UNICEF has engaged with over 100,000 young people through U-Report, which is an engagement platform where we take a poll on how young children feel about issues that pertain to them. And over 6,000 young people participated between the age of 20 and 24. And they complained about high levels of anxiety as a result of loss of livelihoods, unemployment, an interrupted learning journey, but also higher levels of violence in the household. We saw intimate partner violence going up, and that often spills over on children and young people in the household. And thereby, young people complained about hunger as well, with 13% of children going to bed hungry at night. So this is of great concern, and these high levels of anxiety, they can demonstrate through bedwetting, higher levels of the substance abuse, alcohol abuse, but violence as well, insomnia and depression.
Yeah. Interestingly, and you might be interested to know, we're having a discussion, in the last hour as the Department of Basic Education was talking about the reopening of schools. And I see that one of the things you do talk about in the report is the issue of disrupted education, which is also one of the issues raised as to why schools are reopening. Being that that's one of the issues and having the biggest impact on mental well-being, are there ways of going around it? I mean, it's great that, we're hearing indeed that schools will be open and that, young learners will be able then to get education. Are there perhaps, though, on the side of that, other ways in which, one can keep the mind busy, keep the minds of young people busy? And maybe that's something that we as parents and we as society need to also be looking to, and not just in terms of the education sector itself. I mean, what more were you able to kind of, apart from highlighting the issue, but also perhaps solution-based scenarios that you perhaps looked into?
Yeah, thank you so much. That's very important. Well-being starts with oneself.
Yeah.
So what we saw in the report is that young people have been able to reach out to one another. So 78% of young people did share their anxiety with one another. But some of the issues are there with problematic, that they do need some psychosocial support, but also mentors. So what the minister explained in the previous report was important, that 300,000 learning support agents as well as child and youth care workers had been employed as a result of the President Youth Employment Initiative in order to deal with psychosocial matters that young people are facing, and to, reduce bullying, harassment in the schools, but also return to normalcy. So as parents, it's important to take the devices out and to talk to your young people, your kids. It's important to engage and to gauge the well-being of one another and to discuss fitness. It is important to have a healthy diet and to look for a trusted mentor in your life, be it your parents or another trusted adult that you can talk with, and if not, you call Childline and have official and professional counseling.
Yeah, and you touched on that briefly. I mean, that's a positive outcome or something that you found in your survey, the fact that, it highlighted that young people are stepping up to care for each other. You mentioned that, it's when they talk to each other. And what are the other ways in which you've noticed or picked up or found in your survey that, learners are able to kind of engage with each other and be able to help each other out of these dark holes perhaps they might find themselves in?
You know, we supported many important projects during lockdown last year. One was for children to become engaged in their own community. So they started to learn skills on how to build gardens, how to create their own livelihoods, also how to make films and how to paint murals. So it's important to engage young people by themselves, with themselves, give them skills and tools to be occupied and do something positive for themselves and their own communities.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for giving us your input and telling us more about those findings from your report. Much appreciated, Mayke.
You're welcome.
All right, that is Mayke Huijbregts, who is UNICEF South Africa's chief of child depression, talking about the depression and anxiety of young people really being piqued by COVID-19 and some of the issues that were raised and the ahead of Youth Day, their findings that have been released, a survey highlighting the reasons for stress among young people.